Have you ever made a new character and you're just chilling in your starting zone when suddenly you see some level 2 run by in full epic looking gear and you're just like, wait, how the hell do they look like that and I look like this? Then, to top it off, they mount up on a chauffeur-driven hot rod and ride away like it's nothing. Well, that's heirloom gear. And if you've ever thought, okay, what is that and how do I get it? You're in the right place. Because in this video, I'm going to explain what heirlooms are, how they work, where to get them, and how they can totally change your early leveling experience. And don't worry, I'll also show you how to unlock the chauffeured mount that you can ride at level 1. So what is heirloom gear? Heirlooms are special leveling gear that you can purchase to use on your new characters or alts, and they make the leveling process a bit easier. I'll be showing you where you can buy them a bit later in the video, but for now there are 3 unique qualities about heirloom gear you need to know to understand how they work and why you want them in the first place. The Collections tab, level scaling, and set bonuses. We'll start with the Collections tab. When you open your collections menu, the same place where you find mounts, pets, the toy box, and appearances, you'll also find this heirloom tab. Every single heirloom you obtain gets saved here permanently, and it's account-wide. So once you've bought an heirloom piece, all your characters, current and future, have access to it forever. And using it is super easy. All you have to do is click on the pieces you want to use, and copies of those items will drop straight into your bags, ready to equip. And you can create as many copies of an item as you like. This is especially useful if, say, you're playing a rogue who can dual wield daggers. Well, you can simply create 2 of the same dagger to use. And also keep in mind that you can just delete heirlooms and create them again, so there's really nothing to worry about. Now that you know where heirlooms are stored and how to create them, let's move on to talking about the level scaling aspect. Let's say you've just made a fresh level 1 character. You'll notice you don't start with much gear, and you'd have to go through the grind of leveling to slowly get some items through quest rewards. And not to mention, it would be quite a while before you start filling out slots like your helmet, shoulders, neck, cloak, rings, and trinkets. But if you have heirlooms, you can just open your collections tab and create yourself a full set of gear right away, at least mostly a full set of gear. It's important to note that heirlooms are not available for wrists, hands, belts, or boots, but it does cover all of your other main slots, and now you're basically epic for a level 1. And here's the best part, and really the core of why heirlooms are so good. The heirloom gear will scale with you as you level up. That means it always stays relevant for your level with pretty decent stats, so you don't have to worry about constantly swapping out gear as you go. The whole idea is that you put on your heirloom gear at level 1 and you're just good to go for a pretty long time, at least up until level 29, which is as high as they scale naturally. If you want to keep using them beyond that point and have them continue to scale higher, you'll need to upgrade them, but we'll talk about that later. For now, all you need to know is that in their natural state, they'll last you through that initial 1 to 30 era, which is awesome. Now, keep in mind, heirloom gear is good, it's got decent stats, but it isn't always strictly better than every quest reward or dungeon drop. Sometimes along your leveling journey, you might find a piece that looks better in the short term, but because normal items don't scale, they'll fall behind again after a few levels, while your heirloom gear continues to keep up. And besides, you'll usually just want to keep your heirlooms equipped anyways for the set bonuses, which is what we'll be covering next. Now, the way heirlooms work today with their set bonuses are not what they used to be, so let's rewind a bit and look at how heirlooms used to work back in the day, and then I'll explain how they work now. Back in the era of Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, Mop, etc., when they were first introduced and really prominent, heirlooms literally gave you bonus experience, as in you earned extra experience from killing mobs and turning in quests just by wearing them. Each piece added its own percentage bonus, so the more heirlooms you wore, the faster you leveled. This made them extremely desirable, and back in the day, if you were leveling alts, you definitely wanted heirlooms. But now, fast forward to how they work currently, and they're kind of meh. Still good, but just not as good. Basically, what happened is when Shadowlands came out in 2020, Blizzard reworked the entire leveling system. With the introduction of Chromie Time and the level squish, where max level dropped from 120 to 60, leveling became much faster overall, even without heirlooms. So they decided to remove the direct experience bonuses and replace them with a set bonus system focused more on making leveling feel smoother rather than just faster. These set bonuses are called Regalia of Fabled Adventurers, and they activate depending on how many heirloom pieces you're wearing. It works as follows. A 2-piece set will make it so that your rested experience is consumed 30% slower. A 3-piece set makes it so that you have faster out-of-combat regeneration in the world, dungeons, and battlegrounds. A 5-piece set makes it so that when you level, it will trigger Burst of Knowledge, which deals holy damage to nearby enemies and boosts your primary stat for up to 2 minutes. And finally, a 6-piece set will further reduce how quickly your rested experience is consumed. So while you don't get the raw experience buffs anymore, the perks you do get still give you a noticeable quality of life boost while leveling. And one of the main things you'd want to take advantage of while wearing heirlooms is making sure to always log out in an inn or city so that you can get that rested experience. And in case you don't know what rested experience is, you can see that currently my portrait has these little Z's coming up, and that means that my character is resting. So I actually logged out here last night, and you can now see on my experience bar that I've got this rested area here that indicates how far it is rested, and that's when your experience bar is blue, and you get 200% more experience from killing monsters while you're rested. And it'll go back to purple on your experience bar when it's just normal again. Okay, we are almost at the part of the video where I'll show you where to buy heirlooms, but real quick, 2 small details I haven't mentioned yet that are worth knowing. Number 1, heirlooms don't have any durability, so they never need repairs. That saves you a bit of gold, and you'll never run into the annoyance of having a broken piece of gear. And number 2, since heirlooms scale with your level and the whole idea is that you don't need to swap them out for new gear, that means if you transmog them, your look sticks with you the whole way while leveling. Not only does that save you some gold on retransmogging, but you don't have to worry about your character looking like a mismatched mess every time you upgrade your gear. So now that we know what heirloom gear is and what benefits they come with, let's talk about the part you probably care most about, where to actually get them. Let's start with the main heirloom vendors for Horde and Alliance. This is where most players pick up the majority of their pieces. For Alliance, the main heirloom vendor is Krom Stoutarm, located in the Hall of Explorers in Ironforge. For the Horde, things are a little bit more complicated. The vendor Estelle Gendry can be found in one of 2 places, Orgrimmar or the Undercity, depending on if you've done the Battle for Azeroth intro quest or not. So if you're not sure, you might have to check both locations. So the first location is in Orgrimmar, and you'll find her sitting on top of the gates of Orgrimmar here. If she's not there, you'll need to head to the Undercity. To get there, take the portal to Tirisfal Glades from the Zeppelin Tower in Orgrimmar. Once you arrive, talk to Zadormi to change the timeline back into the past before the Undercity was destroyed. From there, head into the Undercity. I recommend using the sewer entrance, which you can find here, because I know a lot of people find the other way to get into the Undercity kind of confusing with all the tunnels and elevators. And once you're inside, you'll find the vendor Estelle in the Rogues Quarter here. Okay, so now we know where the main heirloom vendors are. Now, what do they actually sell? On the first couple of pages, you'll see upgrade tokens, which increase the level range your heirlooms can scale to, and you'll also see zone maps that unlock Flight Pass for older expansions. But for now, don't worry about these. If you flip over to pages 3 through 8, that's where the bulk of the heirlooms are. You'll find shoulders for every armor type, cloth, leather, mail, and plate with different stat options. You'll find chest pieces also for every armor type and stat combo. Then there's your weapons weapons, and there are a lot of them. And plus you've got a variety of trinkets and necklaces. So yeah, these vendors, whether you're Alliance or Horde, are your core source for heirloom gear. To summarize everything real quick, the Alliance vendor is Krom, Stoutarm, and Ironforge. The Horde vendor is Estelle, Gendry, in Orgrimmar or the Undercity, and they sell shoulders, chests, weapons, trinkets, and necklaces. So that covers most of your heirloom slots, but what about the others? Helms, cloaks, and pants don't come from the standard heirloom vendors. Instead, you'll need to pick them up from guild vendors. Here's where to find them. For Alliance, you'll be looking for Shay Pressler in the Visitors Center in the Trade District of Stormwind. And for the Horde, you'll be looking for Garrison, just west of Grommash Hold in the Valley of Strength in Orgrimmar. Now, with buying these heirlooms from the guild vendors, there's a bit of a requirement. To unlock heirloom helms and cloaks, you'll need to be in a guild and reach friendly reputation with them. You gain guild rep naturally just by playing, questing, running dungeons, killing bosses, PvP, and even profession work. You'll start at neutral, but hitting friendly doesn't take too long. You'll find just by playing naturally, you'll unlock it pretty quick. And now finally, there's one more thing that these guild vendors sell, and that's heirloom pants, but the pants are a little bit harder to get. The first requirement to unlock heirloom pants from this vendor is that you need to reach honored reputation with your guild, so you'll just have to keep playing until you reach that. And the second thing you need is that your guild must have the achievement working better as a team. And this achievement just means that members of your guild have reached 600 skill points between all the different professions and secondary professions. Now, I know there might be some of you that aren't in a guild yet and maybe feel kind of stressed out or anxious about joining a guild. I totally relate because I have social anxiety too, but trust me, it's nothing to stress about. What you're going to want to do to unlock these guild vendor heirlooms is to join a well-established guild that already has the profession achievement done. Most guilds that have been around for a while or have a lot of members should have this done already. You can usually find a guild like this using the Guild Finder tool or by watching Trade Chat for recruitment messages, or even you could ask in Trade Chat yourself. And don't feel bad if you join a guild just to grab the heirlooms and then leave later. That's totally fine, and lots of players do the same. Okay, now we've covered most of the heirloom items. The only slot that's left to talk about is rings. Rings are a little trickier to get since you don't buy them from a vendor like the others. I'm not going to go too deep, but here's a quick overview of some ways to get rings. The first option is doing the Stranglethorn Fishing Extravaganza event that happens every Sunday at 2 p.m. PST, which of course you'd need to learn the fishing profession and get a fishing pole to participate in. I had never done this myself in the past, but I tried it out for the first time this weekend just for this video, and basically you just have to fish up 40 speckled tasty fish from pools along the coast and rivers in Stranglethorn and be one of the first 50 people to turn them in to Wriggle Bass Bait in Booty Bay, and the ring is one of the rewards. The second option, and this is where I got my rings, though this was years ago and I barely remember, but in your garrison from the Warlords of Draenor expansion, if you unlock a level 3 garrison, which by the way I have another YouTube video all about unlocking and upgrading your garrison, and then you can do a questline to unlock the garrison shipyard, and then you'll have this shipyard mission table, and there's a chance for 3 different missions to pop up here that can reward rings. I'll put the names up on the screen, but just know that this requires some RNG and it might take some time before these missions pop up for you. Alright, we have now covered where to get every slot of heirloom gear, and the next thing I want to show you is how to upgrade your heirlooms. Let me start with explaining how the upgrading system works, then I'll show you how to buy the tokens to upgrade them. So heirlooms naturally only scale up to level 29, and to upgrade them further you have to gradually upgrade them. You can see how this item shows heirloom upgrade level 0 out of 6. Well, if we upgrade to 1 out of 6, it would go to level 35. Then 2 out of 6 takes it to level 40, then to 45, 50, 60, and finally 70. Now for buying these upgrades, we head to our main heirloom vendor in Ironforge, Orgrimmar, or the Undercity. And on the first page, we've got our heirloom upgrade tokens. On the left, we have our armor casings, which are for any type of heirloom armor, trinkets, shields, or offhands. And on the right, we have our scabbards, which are for weapons. As an example of how these work, let's say I want to upgrade this plate chest piece. I'm going to go ahead and buy these first 3 armor casings. We're starting from 0 out of 6, and I'm going to apply my first upgrade. Then that will allow me to apply my second upgrade and then the third. Now we're at 3 out of 6 and it scales to level 45. And then let's do a weapon 2 just for fun. I'll upgrade this bow, which is already 1 out of 6 because I did that years ago, but I want to take it to 2 out of 6, so in that case I'd buy this one. So as you can see, the process of upgrading heirlooms is pretty easy to understand. The only catch is that it's very expensive because you have to do this gradual upgrading process for each individual heirloom. And think about it, even just bringing armor to 3 out of 6, that costs 3,500 gold. And if you want to bring it to 6 out of 6, that's 18,500 gold per piece. And weapons, even more expensive. Just for 3 out of 6, it's 5,250 gold, and 6 out of 6 is 27,750 gold. So unless you've got millions of gold, most players don't really bother upgrading everything too much. I've got a couple that are maybe upgraded to 2 of 6 or 4 of 6, but only a few. Most of mine I never even bothered with, and they're just sitting at 0 of 6 or 1 of 6. In my opinion, I just like to have heirlooms for that initial 1 to 30 leveling experience. I'm fine with that. So just bear in mind, upgrading them is totally optional and you can choose to only do it on a few specific pieces depending on what classes you're focused most on leveling. Okay, we are nearing the end of the video, just 2 more topics to talk about real quick. Firstly, since we were just talking about gold and how expensive heirlooms can be, I want to mention that you can also buy heirlooms with some other currency besides gold from a few different vendors. For example, you can buy them with Marks of Honor from PvP, Dark Moon prize tickets from the Dark Moon Fair, Time Warped badges from Time Walking, or Champion seals from the Argent Tournament grounds. And I think you can even buy them from holiday vendors for whenever those are going on too, like the Lunar Festival for example. I personally have never done this. I've always just got mine with gold from the main vendors and guild vendors, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. I'm more just letting you know that it's an option, and if you'd like to go that route, feel free. But just keep in mind for a lot of these, you'd have to wait for time walking events to be up, the Dark Moon Fair to be active, etc. And finally, the very last thing I want to talk about in the video is how to get that awesome chauffeur mount that you can ride at level 1, which is such a game changer for levels 1 to 10 when you usually don't have a mount. Unlocking this is actually pretty easy. Basically, there's a series of achievements for collecting heirlooms, and to get the mount, you just need the Heirloom Hoarder achievement, which is to collect 35 heirloom items. You can literally get all 35 of these from the main heirloom vendors, so without even having to worry about unlocking the guild vendors for the Helms, Cloaks, and Pants, the main vendor has got you covered because I think they have like 52 heirlooms available here alone. So the prices of heirlooms, of course, can vary from 500 gold to 750 gold, so depending on what you buy, let's just say an average of 600 gold per piece. And if we need 35 of them for the mount, expect somewhere in the range of 20,000 gold and you will be able to unlock the chauffeur mount. For the Horde, you will be riding with Coke Hoburn, and for the Alliance, it's Franklin Martin. And that officially brings us to the end of the video. I hope you feel much more equipped with information regarding heirlooms. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, or feel free to join my Discord where we have a lovely community of people willing to help you out with any questions as well. I hope you enjoy your leveling adventure, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.